link down below. Get $26,000 to move to Michigan. Say fuck California. What? I'm not recording you. I'm recording myself. Wanna go? We'll be rich. Eunice Ferguson, Jesse Ferguson, Mark and Maxine Schaefer. Should we go for a walk? You wanna go? It wasn't even hear like a high pitched sound. No, like for real though, like not for like in your ears. No, it's like a device. What's that device? Do you know what it's called? You see it in like action movies or war movies. Mitchell. Donald Trump. Mandego Green. Harris. Atlanta Harris. Carol Harris. State of Washington, Georgia. Jetty Bird. Junior Senior. Alma Powell, W. Livingston, Richard and Alma Powell. Richard Powell. Carl White, Kulisha Rogers White. Oh, this is a long ass list. As fuck. As fuck. Say baby, as fuck. Which card do you want? Oh, Mark Hunter. Which card do you want? Buy you any card you want. Which card do you want? Hello. So I could pick two. Teresa Kennedy. Mary Kennedy. Pick two cards, babe. I'm gonna get a Lambo truck. What about you? And an Ninja e-bike. For when there's traffic. How about you, babe? Which one do you want? Pick anything. I got you.
Turn the light off the phone.
My bad, I thought the car was on. My bad. Well, what car, babe? Judy Vaughn. Angela Gaines. Sharon Hawkins. Irma Johnson, Ariel Eshkol, Erica Wichel, like the hot sauce. Michael and Ariel Eshkol, Schneiderman, Sherman. What kind of girl, babe? Huh? Come on. Babe. Sharing time with my party you want to get? Seriously? Fantasy. Really? Lucius. Leo Pell. Edward Chapman. Joral. Edward Lucius. Luscious. Reginald L. Johnson. Goody Apple. Juliana. Oh, like Michael Jackson's daughter, Apple. That's crazy. Keith Tut. Bro, you're watching too many Egyptian documentaries. Jamal Hughes. Lordy. Eric Taylor, Millennium, LLC. Which car do you want, babe? Huh? Tell me a car or else I'm gonna make you walk the plank. Babe, you wanna walk the plank or no? Huh? You walk like, oh, look at you. How'd you get that? Yeah. This is your mind. Tell me if I will make you walk the plank. Hmm. Tell me. Tell me. Tell me which car you want. I'm gonna make you walk the plank.
Escape to
No. Car. And then skateboard. Stupid.
what they use.
That's what you want? Done. Waiter, bring me that stupid ass car. Waiter. Jeeves. Jeeves, fetch me my Lambo truck. Krista Adkins. Well, she don't have to work anymore. We're like this stuff. You happy about that? Hmm? Are you happy? Why can't you fucking be happy? Let's say you never have to work again. Just your own business and people work for you. Unless like roof work. Sicario, you're gonna have a fucking giant doggy mansion. Sicario. Sicario. Outside. Outside. Outside cookies. Cookies outside. Outside cookies. Woo! Sicario. Sicario's gonna have a doggy Lambo. Sicario. Sicario, have you ever driven a doggy Lambo? Sicario. Hey. You want a doggy Lambo, Papas? You want a doggy Lambo? I'll get you 5 bitches. How about that? All the other dogs are gonna be your life. Papas, I love you. What's the sticky stuff on your head, Papas? Papas, breathe. Don't make me blow in your nose. Got it? Cool. Get it back good. Jacqueline Gutierrez. Amanda Terry Stanhope. Alexandria Hay. say? Wow. Chuck hauling monkeys infected with hepatitis C, herpes, and COVID over trains on the highway. Crazy. So feeling. What's it? 100-acre rehab. That's cool. felt like I used got this from Walmart willingly. Dang, Facebook got jokes today. Dang, somebody hit a 6-year-old boy and say, "Guys, it's sad."
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Steffi Roche.
And I'm Steve Price. This crash happened along a busy stretch of University Avenue. Now police are looking for the driver who never stopped.
CBS 8's Alex Lai joins us live from the scene of the crash. And Alex, the road was closed for several hours right after it happened. What's the situation now? Well, Steve and Steffi, the road has reopened, and there is no memorial along this stretch
For organ trafficking. No memorial for the last boy. Organ trafficking. For sure. No memorial, but a cooler. Let the jokes begin. What the fuck was his little ass doing outside? Hey, baby, what you doing on that corner? That's crazy. Hey, there's a toy shop I went to.
California, with Prop 50, you have the power.
You have the power to stand up to Donald Trump.
You have the power to give America a fair midterm.
Come on, hurry up for the midterms. It's just rigged.
In all 50 states.
Yes.
Nobody has rights.
I get sick of that shit. I do. It makes me sick. Sometimes I talk crazy just to make myself feel better. You ever do that? Just start talking like crazy. You ever hear this one?
Man.
That's how bad guys used to talk in the 40s. In the old days. See, I talk like that. Not all the time, but if somebody put the pressure on me, I gotta cut loose. And the police told me, I'll talk crazy. Son, do you know why we moved you over? Nah, because I'm black, see, that's right. It's not illegal to talk like that. How do they know I don't talk like that every day? Stop talking like that. Stop talking like that, Copper. So I talk, see. You gotta make life interesting like that, because this shit is flimsy. Life is flimsy. You think you're gonna live, but you're not gonna live forever. It's dangerous out here. We know what's going on. I travel now, you know. I used to think DC had the roughest ghettos in the country. Nah, nigga. I have seen some shit.
Yeah,
Oh, there's some rough areas outside of DC. Yeah, everybody should go to the ghetto. I was taken to the ghetto one time. That's the worst. When you get taken and you're not expecting to go. You know, usually you want to know when you're going to the ghetto, like, I'm going to see some wild shit. I got to prepare myself. I'm going to see something crazy. When you're taking it, it's different. I had a limousine driver. It was after a show. It was late at night. It was like 3 in the morning. I had a limousine driver. He's a nice guy, talking to me and shit. Oh, hey, where you from, dog? DC? Word? That's a rough city, man. And his cell phone started ringing. Hold on 1 second. Hello? Oh, what's up, nigga? What? What the fuck? Slow man, what? What the fuck? No! 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 Fuck that, nigga. Fuck it. I'm on my way. I gotta make a stop real quick. At 3 o'clock in the morning. I didn't know he was taking me to get with first. I started looking out the window. Like, what the fuck? Gun store, liquor store, gun store. What the fuck you taking me? This don't look good. He didn't say shit. Just pulled up from an old rickety building that looked like a project. Now, I never been there before. I'm not sure if it was a project, but it certainly had all the familiar symptoms of a project. A fucking crackhead ran this way. And then another one jumped out of a tree and shit. The guy said, I'll be right back. Left me. Took the keys with me, just left me. At 3 o'clock in the morning, in front of a project, in a fucking limousine. This was not good. I was like, man, I gotta look around, see if I can see some landmarks and figure out where I'm at. I have to escape on foot. Now, this is when I knew I was in a bad neighborhood. You only see this in the worst neighborhoods. Remember, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I look out the window. There was a fucking baby standing on the corner. And the baby didn't even look scared. He was just standing there. It made me sad. Because I wanted to help the baby. I don't trust him either. I'm sorry. Click. The old baby on the corner trick, eh? Not gonna fall for that shit. So where's this limousine driver? You know, I start feeling bad. As time goes by, I start feeling worse. I think, what the hell is going on? I'm scared of a baby. This baby could be in trouble. He might need my help. I gotta do something. But I was gonna get out of the car. I'm serious, man. I just cracked the window a little bit. There's an old limousine. I can roll it down. Hey, baby. Baby, go home, man. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. What the fuck are you doing out? The baby said, I'm selling weed. Nigga, I said, oh. Boy, this nigga there. I'm sure I had to buy 2 bags from the car. I didn't get 2 from. Got back in the car and rolled me a joint.
Can't wait to bite my ass with $100 bill.
I was invited to give you a taste of a typical law school classroom experience here today, and I thought I would take advantage of this opportunity to do something that's been on my mind for a while. To stand up and to proudly say, God bless America, God bless the Bill of Rights, and thank God for the Fifth Amendment. I'm not ashamed to say I'm proud of the Fifth Amendment, and I'm proud to admit on camera and on the internet that I will never talk to any police officer under any circumstances, with all due respect, sir. I'm doing something really extraordinary here today, something you'll almost never see another law professor do as long as you live. I'm really putting myself on the spot here. And this was my idea. By my invitation, I have given up half of my time, approximately, giving equal time and the last word to an expert who really knows something about what I'll be talking about. So I'm opening myself up to the possibility that he will contradict me. I was a criminal defense attorney when I was in private practice. So I want to make sure, in fairness to you, if I'm misleading you or giving you a slanted or one-sided presentation, you'll be able to get the last word from somebody else. I'm sure he'll have a lot to teach all of us, including myself. The Fifth Amendment to the United States Constitution provides, no person shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself. And this unfortunate amendment has gotten a bad rep in recent times, much of it tragically and unnecessarily through, as you may have heard, the headlines. Let me read to you something that was taken out of the newspaper this morning, and I want you to listen to it closely. And I'm giving you a heads up. I'm warning you in advance, which is not fair to you. Not fair to me, but I'm giving you a warning that I'll be quizzing you on this in just a few minutes. This will test your aptitude for legal study and legal practice. Listen closely, it won't take long. Last night, agents of the Norfolk Police Department found 3 victims of an apparent murder dead in an apartment in the East Ocean View area. The apparent victims of a gangland-style slaying, and possibly the victims of gang-related violence. The police are investigating this as a possible murder and suicide, but right now suspect that the 3 were all killed by the same individual. No suspects have yet been identified in the slaying, but veteran police detective George Brook has confirmed that police are following up on evidence pointing to the possible involvement of an off-duty naval officer as the perpetrator. The bodies, which were found by the apartment manager about 8 o'clock in the morning, appear to have been slain sometime earlier on the same evening, probably sometime between midnight and 2 o'clock in the morning. That's it. Those are all the facts I want you to remember, and it won't be for very long either. Let's see how well you do. I'll be quizzing you in just a few minutes. Now, here's the easiest question you'll ever get from a client in all the days of your life. Question: hey, the police are here. They want to talk to me. What should I do? Well, I could give you my answer to that question in case you haven't already guessed it. But why don't we go to a real expert, Justice Robert Jackson, a prosecutor's prosecutor. Like me, he began his private practice in Buffalo, New York, years before I did. And after that, he served as general counsel for the Bureau of Internal Revenue, the U.S. Department of Treasury, the Security and Exchange Commission, Assistant U.S. Attorney General for the Tax Division, later the Solicitor General and the Attorney General of the United States, and then the Chief U.S. Prosecutor for the Nuremberg trial. That's an impressive resume. Years later, when he was a justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Jackson stated, quote, any lawyer worth his salt, today we say his or her, will
sounds like somebody being tortured. It's crazy because the last time I seen Jenna Shaver, she told me that I should report my mom missing.
will tell the suspect, his client, in no uncertain terms to make no statement to the police under any circumstances. That's the title of my talk. I'm here to explain to you the surprising and somewhat counterintuitive and admittedly unlikely reasons why Justice Jackson was right. I'm reminded of this because I'm amazed, we're all amazed, by the frequency with which we see newspaper articles coming out all the time from people who really ought to know better, who say, well, I'll talk to the police. I mean, after all, I'm a senator. I'm O.J. Simpson. I'm an experienced, highly polished individual. I've got a lot of experience with public relations, even criminal defense attorneys. There was a local news story here in the Virginia Pilot just a couple of months ago.
Sicario, you wanna go outside, Papas? You wanna go outside? Sicario! Outside? Sicario, you go for a walk? Sicario, want to go for a walk outside, Papas? Hey, outside. Sicario. Sicario. Hey, fool. ¿De dónde es? Outside, papás? ¿Quieres dónde? Outside? No, papás? Sicario. Sicario. Don't make me sing happy birthday, bitch. Hey, Sicario. Have it up to the. Oh, you asked to. Why your lips look so dry, Papa? Drink some water, Papa. You got the snaggle juice going on. Come on, snaggle. Come on, snaggle. Snaggle, snaggle. Schmeagle. Come on, Schmeagle. Schmeagle. Schmeagle.
But a experienced criminal defense lawyer who ended up getting convicted of criminal assault because he talked to the police. He was accused of having
Let
assaulted
the water
another
slide
individual.
down your
There are no
throat.
other witnesses, as the police said
And
they
then-
grabbed him by the throat during
and then-
the argument of the case.
Go inside. Go inside.
At trial,
Go
his
inside.
lawyer
Go
against
inside.
Harris
Go
did
inside.
not even touch him.
Go up. Don't show people's arms.
When the police said, "Well, said, would you be willing to answer some questions?" He said, "Sure, why not? I'm an
Why don't you
attorney.
eat
I'm a
lots of
criminal
food?
defense
Because
attorney.
we got a
I'm
few
savvy.
lawns we
I'm
need to shit on.
sophisticated. I've got oratorical prowess. I'm accustomed to dealing with the police. By all means." And then another conversation that was not recorded.
You ready?
Case went to trial. It was no
You
longer
got that shit built up?
because when he testified at trial, I never touched her. The
We got like
officer
3 hours at least.
testified, well, when I met with him, he said he did put his hand on her throat, but just as a joke. Then he had to take the stand again and say, "That's not true. I never said that. I never admitted to you that I." Now it's inquiry against him. We'll never know for sure, but he was found guilty. Now, we have hundreds of shops that work for us. Bedroom sets, dining room sets, living room furniture, TV stands, outdoor furniture. There are 4 main points that we focus on: style, customizability, price. We have a distribution network for shipping here in the lower 48. All of our furniture is built here in the USA. We have some of the best builders in the world.
Good boy, my baby. What happened right here? Oh, just kidding. I did that. Oops,
They'll give you
sorry.
3 steps to get booked and paid to speak. 1, pick a niche that people actually hire speakers for. 2, build a signature talk that actually sells. 3, run a weekly outreach pipeline. This is the exact same system that successful speakers are using.
Here's part of the problem. The heart of the problem, as Justice Breyer on the U.S. Supreme Court explained in 1998, is, quote, "The complexity with modern federal criminal law, codified in several thousand sections of the United States Code, and the virtually infinite variety of factual circumstances that might trigger an investigation into a possible violation of the law, make it difficult for anyone to know in advance just when a particular set of statements might later appear to a prosecutor and be relevant to some investigation." One expert on criminal law recently noted that estimates of the current size of the body of federal criminal law vary, although it has been reported that the Congressional Research Service can no longer even count the current number of federal crimes. That's right, even the federal government has lost count. These laws are scattered over all 50 pages of the U.S. Code, encompassing roughly 27,000 pages. Worse yet, these statutes often incorporate by reference the provisions of administrative regulations. Estimates of how many such regulations exist are even less well settled, although the ABA thinks there may be nearly 10,000. Here's one of those 10,000 federal criminal statutes on the book that you probably never heard about. It's called the Lacey Act. 16 U.S.C. Section 3370 says it's a federal offense for any person to import, export, transport, sell, receive, acquire, or purchase any fish or wildlife or plants taken, possessed, transported, or sold
How about
in a violation of
mosquitoes?
any law, treaty, or regulation of not American but Honduran. Law forbade the possession of the bony fish. People have been convicted under this law because they were found in possession of what's called a short lobster. A lobster that's under a certain size. Some states forbid you from possessing a lobster if he's under a certain length. It doesn't matter if he's dead or alive. It doesn't matter if you killed him or if he died of natural causes. It doesn't even matter if you acted in self-defense. Did you know that? Did you know it could be a federal offense to be in possession of a lobster? Admit it. Raise your hand if you did not know that. There's the problem. And that's only one of 10,000 different ways. You know, the government gets pretty upset when people like me instruct the client, people like me and Justice Jackson. Don't talk to the police, don't answer any questions. But you know, they can't have it both ways. You people, you've got 10,000 different ways of convicting us. Good for you, but you know, with the bitter comes to the sweet, with the good comes to the bad. That's 10,000 different ways my client might unknowingly implicate himself in some sort of a criminal transaction. One of the reasons I decided to give this talk, I recently received a phone call from a former student of mine, a Regional Law School graduate, who may be watching this online. We're putting it on the internet. And he told me, hey, I've been approached by the Internal Revenue Service. They want to ask me a couple of questions. They ask if I'd be willing to. But they say that I'm not a suspect. And I know in my heart, I don't think I've done anything wrong in violation of the Internal Revenue Service provisions. Lord have mercy. There's no man on earth, there's no woman in this country who can honestly say with complete confidence, I know I've never violated any provision of the Internal Revenue Code. He said, but they say I'm not a suspect and I know I've done nothing wrong. It's okay if I talk to him. I said, no, you tell them you will not talk to them without immunity. I explained to him why that was true, and he never heard from them again. Okay, why you should never talk to the police. Let me just spell it out for you. Let me make it plain to all of you. These are the top 10 reasons. I don't want to actually really lie to you. I don't really have 10. I don't have time for 10, but I've got time for 8, and that'll be close enough. Number 1, and this really ought to be good enough. Contrary to what you laymen instinctively and naturally suppose, it cannot help. There is no way it can help you. Plenty of folks think that it can, and they're always wrong. You cannot talk your way out of getting arrested. Officer Brooke, you've interviewed thousands of criminal suspects. Have you ever, how many times in your experience, have you approached someone, asked if you could ask them some questions because prior to the interview you had some evidence pointing to his possible guilt? And because of the extraordinary persuasiveness and eloquence with which he articulated his innocence, you said, oh, sorry, never mind. Bad call, my bad, I won't, and he talked you out of arresting him. Never, it never happens. I've often asked other criminal defense attorneys, in all of your experience, have you ever once had a case where you looked back in hindsight and said, thank God my client talked to the police, they laugh at me, they say, you've got to be kidding me. It cannot help you. You can't talk your way out of getting arrested, and contrary to what you might suppose if you never studied the rules of evidence, what you tell the police, even if it's exculpatory, cannot be used to help you at trial. Because it's what we call hearsay. Under the rules of evidence, specifically Rule 801 D2A, if you want to look it up, everything you tell the police, as the saying goes, can and will be used against you, but it cannot be used for you. From time to time, I've known attorneys who tried to call to the stand a police officer and say, officer, would you tell the jury what my client told you because what my client told him is actually good for my case? If you tried that at trial, the prosecutor will object that it's hearsay, and the judge will agree. The police will not be allowed, at your request, to tell the jury what your client told him, no matter how good it may be for your case. It cannot help. And that ought to be good enough reason. That ought to be reason enough to keep your mouth shut. But if you're not persuaded, let me go talk about a couple of others. Number 2, obviously one of the most obvious. If your client is guilty, as many of them are, but even if he's not, even if he's innocent, he may well admit his guilt with no benefit in return. Now, of course, many of you are thinking to yourself, well, what's so wrong about that? I mean, shouldn't guilty people be confessing? Confession's good for the soul. It's good for law enforcement. It's good for the prisons. Yes, sure, all those things are true. And like the rest of you, if I or anyone close to me is ever the victim of some sort of a serious crime, I hope they get the right guy. I hope they convict him. I hope they put him away. We all feel that way. Hey, but what's the rush, friend? You don't got to admit your guilt the first time they come by to meet with you. In federal court, 86% of all defendants plead guilty at some point before trial. If your client is guilty and really ought to punish, and really ought to have go through some sort of a cleansing act of contrition and fess up and admit his guilt, there'll be plenty of time to do that. They almost always do. No need to rush, no need to tell the police something. Wait and see if perhaps your client can work out some sort of an arrangement where maybe he'll make some sort of compensation to the alleged victim, or maybe he'll be able to get some sort of a discount in his sentence. And he'll be treated fairly then, like everybody else who had the benefit of a good lawyer who said, please do not talk to the police. And don't forget, by the way, even if your client only admits things that the police already knew, you might think, well, what harm can it do? He says he wants to talk to the police. All he wants to do is admit that he was there, but the cops know that he was there. All right, go ahead and tell him. Well, how can it hurt? It might hurt if the police officer becomes transferred to Minnesota, or deceased, or injured, or comatose, or cannot be located by the time of trial. The case will be dismissed if there's no confession. But if your client admits 2 things, that confession is freely admissible against him, and it can be a basis for getting him convicted all by himself. Senator Larry Craig can explain all of this to you.
This is Purdue University. This is where the work starts. This is where the best ideas create a cleaner tomorrow. This is where teamwork and persistence safeguard our future.
Air flow rate looks good. Running auto in 3, 2, 1.
This is where knowledge is shared to accelerate the delivery of therapies and drive the discoveries that save lives. This is where the next paradigm shifting, world-shaping, groundbreaking research is born. Where the edge of what's known borders what's yet to be found. This is Purdue, where we never stop coming together to explore our
And
wildest
the little
dreams,
ring thing,
tackle
I
new tough challenges, drive excellence at scale.
want to take it like that.
This is
You know,
where
Jam
the
right.
I did that so we can have
Experts and
motivation
brilliant
to keep
minds
going to it.
like you come to create
Why should the
lasting
motivation
impact
stop?
and persistently pursue
Because
the
you didn't
next
do
giant
enough, you
leap.
could try.
Is it
I
getting
mean,
hot in here?
if you put yourself in my predicament,
Yeah, I was there. And not once should you have kept smoking.
Nah,
Figure
girl.
out
That's just the
the shit that
menopause.
is going out.
Introducing Weight Watchers for menopause. Now with medical experts trained in perimenopause and menopause to give you the care you deserve. All backed by
The Innocence Project of the United States has confirmed that in more than 25% of all the cases where an innocent man was convicted and then later released from prison after he was exonerated by
Wait,
DNA
hold on,
evidence,
Papa.
in a quarter of those cases, these innocent people we know to be innocent, made incriminating statements, delivered outright confessions, or pled guilty. How do they do that? He'll tell us all about it, I trust. Here's a couple of famous examples. You can just ask them. You don't have to take my word for it. There on the left was Eddie Joe Lloyd. He was convicted in 1984 of the murder of a 16-year-old girl in Detroit after he wrote to police with suggestions on how to solve various recent crimes. During several interviews, police fed details of the crime to Mr. Lloyd, who was mentally ill, and they lied to him and convinced this mentally ill man that by confessing, he might help them smoke out the real killer. He later signed a confession and gave a tape-recorded statement. The jury deliberated less than 1 hour before convicting him on the basis of this possession. There was no other substantial evidence against him. The judge said, "I'd hang you if I could," but the death penalty was not available in Michigan at the time. But after
Michigan.
he was released after DNA evidence proved that he was innocent and is falsely committed, confessed to a crime that he did not commit. On the right is Earl Washington, who was released from prison a few years ago here in Virginia after spending 18 years behind bars after being committed of a rape and a murder that we now know he did not.
Raymond Tate.
But this man, Mr. Washington,
Fuck
was in fact confirmed
you.
to be mentally retarded, was able to confess to several crimes at the request of the police, some of which we know he could not have committed. That's the